welcome to the Wright Perspective. Today, we're going to recap and discuss a 1997 comedy movie called Good Burger that stars Kel Mitchell and Kenan Thompson, and Sinbad is in it too. The movie is based on a sketch from a Nickelodeon show called All That, which ran from the 90s into the early 2000s. And Good Burger grossed $23.7 million against a budget of $8.5 million. And so we're going to discuss it today. We're going to discuss plot and direction and characters and acting, cinematography, sound, and music. And then at the end, we will vote to determine whether Good Burger is a classic from the Wright Perspective. But first, we have to introduce ourselves, and then we have to decide on the voting symbol that we're going to use to rate this movie at the end of the recap. And for those that are our regular listeners, you know that we pick a vote. We change the voting symbol every episode, and we tailor the voting symbol to the movie itself. And so after introductions, we'll pick our voting symbol. Kick us off, bro.
Hi, I'm Aubrey Wright. I'm the oldest.
I'm Genia Wright. I'm the middle.
I'm Brittany Wright, and I'm the youngest.
She just loves it. She just loves being the youngest.
Hi.
Oh God, y'all! Voting symbols for this. I had several ideas. I had to narrow it to 3 ideas to share. You know, and you don't want to pick something obvious like a Good Burger. You know what I mean?
I think we should do one of those little time clocks to represent the 2 hours of your life you will never get back.
So rude.
Oh gosh. I was thinking we could do because I think like it's that character of Ed, you know, and I was thinking we could, and also the fact that it's a diner. I was thinking we could do like the server hat, like the little paper server hat.
The Good Burger hat.
Yeah, it's like a diner hat. You know.
That, or you could do the Burger Mobile.
Could also do rollerblades because if you think about it, it was Ed on rollerblades colliding with Dexter. That's really how the relationship got started.
That's deep.
Listen. Why don't y'all just do Good Burgers?
Well, there's another option.
I like Good Burgers.
I mean, it just seems like you're making this more complicated than it is.
Or special sauce.
I thought about bottles of special sauce. Yeah. You know what?
Diner.
You know what really though? What was the moment where Dexter and Ed really became friends? It was when Ed gave Dexter the yo-yo.
Oh.
I think a yo-yo. It's
Abby yo-yo.
Wrong yo-yo.
Oh, you're right.
It feels too on the nose to use a Good Burger.
Bro, you're acting like you don't remember that though. Hashtag read it rainbow.
Abby yo-yo. Abby yo-yo. Yo-yo. Abby yo-yo. Abby yo-yo. Yo-yo.
I'm trying to figure
Man,
out.
they made reading so engaging.
Man, yo, reading was so much
Reading
fun on Read Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow.
I can do anything.
Take a look. It's in a book.
Okay, on a separate but related topic. Did either of you watch Community?
Every episode, even after it got dumb.
Janiyah put me on that.
Yeah.
when Donald Glover met LeVar Burton.
Oh God, you know what?
When he was sitting across from
Donald Glover is hilarious.
When he started singing Rainbow, he was too filled with emotion. He just couldn't handle it.
And LeVar Burton did such iconic characters early in his career. He don't have to do nothing else but cameos now.
Nothing.
Because he was on Big Bang Theory more than once. You
And
know,
as his
the other thing I
no,
love
as
about
his
LeVar,
Star Trek
Wow.
character.
and we are way off the pale.
Oh.
I just want
We're
to.
so sorry, you
Listen,
guys.
I mean, he's as
we're so
himself,
sorry.
but they
We're so
are
sorry.
fans of his because of his Star Trek character.
But the thing is that I love actors like that who don't take themselves so seriously, who
Thank
could
you.
go have some fun.
I agree.
I don't know how we got all the way there. It would be
Listen.
curious to backtrack it. So we were reading Rainbow.
Abby Yo-Yo.
Abby
Abby
Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo,
Instead
that's
of
where it
Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo. Got it. All right, yeah. So it all makes sense.
And welcome to my brain.
There it is. It all makes sense.
That's literally my brain every day.
Because we
And
went
I'm
from
not
the
on
Yo-Yo
drugs.
to Abby Yo-Yo to reading Rainbow to LeVar Burton.
Yep.
And
Bam.
the sauce, the
Boom
sauce
goes the
in Good
dynamite.
Burger is a crack rock.
Brittany, this is
Or
not going to
what
be a thing.
Mondo Burger was
Brittany,
using
Brittany,
was a drug to
Brittany,
make
you are
the
not
burger larger.
Brittany, you're not going to make the crack thing a part of the right perspective.
Brittany,
Oh,
stop
okay.
making it an ongoing trope. We are not a drug. We are not a pro-drug.
It was crack rock. The sauce was like a crack rock.
Okay, which of these overcomplicated
I really
symbols
feel like a
do you
yo-yo.
all
We're
wanna
not.
use?
We're not a drug show.
I think even because of this tangent, we have to do yo-yo.
Okay, fine. Let's go. All right.
I think
All
to
Yo-yos.
memorialize
That's very
this
unique.
tangent.
That's very unique. That's unique. I like
And
that.
truth be told, I do remember those red and blue yo-yos back in
Yeah,
the day.
they
So
were so fun.
I know what he
The
was
light,
talking
they
about.
lit up.
Mhm.
I'll
Get
tell
him-
you one
get him
thing.
wood.
Once that yo-yo got unwound, you can forget it.
Yeah, you can forget.
Oh
it.
yeah, I would just throw it away.
It
I'm like,
wasn't
you know
yo-yo
what?
in the same.
I'm not dealing with this. I have my time is valuable. I'm president of multiple clubs. Okay, I've got
The yo would
many
never.
activities.
It would never yo the same. It would never.
I don't
yo
have
the
time.
same.
It would never go the same.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap of the movie. Okay, and for those that are new to us, we do spoilers. We do recap the movie. Okay. So Good Burger is actually a diner that has been around for 40 years in that community, and the community loves it. Okay, they love it. And more than that, the employees that work there love it. They love their jobs there. They're like a little family. And in particular, there is a cashier named Ed that absolutely loves his job. It's like Good Burger is his identity. Okay, he like sleeps in his uniform. But it doesn't take you too long to kind of understand that he's on somebody's
Challenge.
spectrum. Okay. All right. You know, I don't even know how to describe it without potentially being offensive. Okay. He's clearly there are marbles missing. So one day, while he's making a food delivery on rollerblades, he causes a car accident. And one of the cars was being driven by a high school student named Dexter. Dexter had no business even driving this car for several reasons. Number one, his mother was away on a business trip. Number two, he didn't have a driver's license. You know, and if that wasn't enough, the car that he actually hit, the other car in the accident was being driven by a teacher that hated him, played by Sinbad, a teacher that hated him from his high school. And so Dexter ends up having to get a summer job to pay for the damages, and to his teacher's car. And he ends up working where? Oh, you guessed it. He ends up working at Good Burger with Ed. You know, it takes him a minute to realize that Ed is the reason that it caused the accident. You know, but Dexter, he realizes it. They get over it though, because it's very hard to be angry with Ed because he is just like, I don't have better language. It's like he's a little dim-witted, and it's like you can't be mad at him. You just forgive him. He's like a charismatic, fun guy. And so Ed and Dexter eventually become friends, and we see Dexter. He's like enjoying being a part of the Good Burger family, but just as soon as we were all getting settled into a rhythm, a rival burger place opens up across the street, and it's called Mondo Burger. And it is like the polar opposite of Good Burger in every
the
possible way.
opposite.
Good Burger is like a cute little diner, but it's like a little striped shirts and a little paper hats. And Mondo Burger, they're like wearing spaceman uniforms, like metallic silver. It's like a huge industrial complex.
It's latex outfits.
They have latex outfits. And they have like strobe lights and a red carpet, and it's like this whole it's like the opposite of this local burger joint. They're like obviously representing like a huge chain coming in. And listen, those community members, they have no allegiance, okay? Because it was like Good Burger never existed. The whole community is now patronizing Mondo Burger, and Good Burger, their future is being threatened. Fortunately, Good Burger has a trick up its sleeve. Ed has invented a delicious sauce. And once Good Burger starts using the sauce to put it on its burgers, the community starts to patronize Good Burger again. And of course, Mondo Burger is very angry at that sauce, because they want Good Burger out of business. And they pull all kinds of trickeries and shenanigans to try to put Good Burger out of business. And it is shenanigans. I mean, it's like they try to poison the Good Burger customers with shark poison. They have some of the employees put into an insane asylum, and then just periodically they march into Good Burger and they say really intimidating things like, "You're going out of business." So it's like, okay, Mondo Burger, you're upset about the Ed sauce.
They even send a hot lady.
That's right.
Shout out to Carmen Electra.
They send a woman in to try to seduce Ed to get the sauce recipe. They try to lure Ed away with money.
She ends up having to go to the hospital.
Eventually, after doing some very slapstick undercover work, which included poor cross-dressing, Ed and Dexter find out that Mondo Burger is actually using an illegal chemical called triamphethol to make the burgers really big. And the burgers are so big, they're like comically big. Okay. I mean, it's like you can't eat it. It's like this big with like a little bun on it. And they're disgusting looking, but it's like these comically big burgers.
Nasty.
And then they come up with this like plot to break in and expose the illegal activity. Ed ends up pouring a whole bunch of the triamphethol into the ground meat vat, and it causes the burgers to start to explode, to the point where like the Mondo Burger restaurant itself is basically in shambles. The police come and they haul the Mondo Burger staff away for poisoning people, obviously. Good Burger lives on in the community, and Ed and Dexter are not only heroes because they've shut down Mondo Burger, but they are BFFs for life.
Man, this movie is layered. It's so layered.
It is not.
It's so much.
It is not layered.
So much. Listen, Mondo Burger is representative of big business coming out to take out the small guy.
Yeah.
Illegal activities. You see, it's cheap. It's so many levels.
I feel like that's the layer. That's the layer. That's it.
Okay.
But I don't think there are others.
Friendship. What does that look like?
Sis, why did you pick this movie for us to do? Why? Because we're supposed to be reviewing movies that people consider to be a classic. What made you nominate this one for review?
First of all, Good Burger is a classic for our generation because of the show All That. That's number one, okay? A children's show that was likening of SNL, where it had skits and those different types of things for kids. Also, for me, it is a classic because growing up, I love this movie. I had it on VHS. That VHS was orange. I remember it very clearly, and I used to watch it all the time when I would come home after church. And I knew all the words of this movie still. And so, and it was something I was not expecting, because I was just like, you're really using this movie to torture my siblings. I'm so good at it. It was trending number 3 on Netflix out of 10. Like when I was watching it, I said, I'm sorry, what? It was number 3 out of the top 10 movies that were being watched on
Can I
Netflix.
can I say that though I know that you started this with the torture in mind, that is a very interesting reason.
Listen,
In addition, that's an interesting
Yes.
reason to revisit this. That really is, because I wouldn't have expected that.
it caught me so off guard when I saw it. I was like, what? Because I knew I loved it, but I didn't think that other people like still loved it that way. I wasn't sure. I just knew that I loved it, because then I know our platform, right, is things that we deem a classic, or the people, cult classic or something. So I was just like, I know I love this movie, and I've talked to different people and I've mentioned it, and they're like, oh my God, Good Burger is one of my favorite movies, and I'm like, people.
But who are these people? Are they your other personalities?
They're top-notch humans.
Well,
And that's all
you know, birds of a feather. Birds of a feather.
I don't really. Well,
They're
first of all,
top-notch.
first of all, Brittany,
They're movie reviewers for an intergalactic planet.
first of all, I think that in these reviews that we've been doing, the movies that come from my generation, I really bring you into the mood. I try to bring you into the mood of the time frame. I want to be brought into this mood. What was going on? Because you said several things that make sense. Now that, because it is kind of like a 2-hour sketch, that would be on a really bad.
It's based on a sketch. It's based on
a
sketch from all that.
Because I couldn't imagine why somebody would go watch this. So first of all, I don't have a review. I have a series of questions. And through these questions, I want you to bring me in to the so first of all, was this in theaters?
Yes.
This was in theaters.
Oh yeah.
Because in the beginning, it was, what was it? 8.5 million was how much they made, was how much the movie cost, and it grossed 25 million. Didn't it? Isn't that what you said?
You were very close. 8.5 million budget, 23.7.
Okay, Brittany, bring me in. Bring me into the build up.
So I will say, like, this is, I told Janaya this on the phone. I was like, this is after you and Aubrey's time. Right. I was like, this, I mean,
it was after my time.
Because Aubrey was in college, so he was fully 18 at Morgan, not thinking about Nickelodeon. Janaya, you've been 25 since you were like 11.
That's true. That's true. But I've also currently watched children's programming. I watch Nickelodeon and Disney Channel right now.
Janaya's like a child star. Like, she's catching up on childhood right now, because she's been grown since she was born.
She's so close to insane. She's so close to insane.
So she's down the street.
Just one tweak. It's just one tweak. One more tweak.
The thing about all of that, it started in the mid 90s. It's like 94. In 94, I was in middle school, so I was just at the age to be able to appreciate that show, because and the other thing you have to know is that the actors that were in it were my age. They were my contemporaries. I mean, it's people that we know now. It's Kenan Thompson, who we all know now from SNL. Amanda Bynes. She was on all that.
Kenan Thompson is the longest running character on SNL.
Actor.
He's the longest running actor on SNL. Like, that is huge.
There were a lot of those. These actors that are they're adults now, they're in their 30s and 40s now, and we recognize them from Nick Cannon was on all that. Okay, there's just a bunch of people you would recognize, and so
all that
it's
was
almost
it
was
like in Living Color or SNL.
Yes,
for
it
kids.
Was.
All right,
and even the way the actors.
This was a recurring sketch on that show that then became a movie. So it was my age group watching this. Okay, because
And if you go anywhere, people are like, if you say welcome to Good Burger, people in this, the response.
yeah.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I
Okay,
take
so
your
when
order?
he said that, when he
I
said
said
that,
it with him. I did say it with
so
him.
when he said that in the movie, that was like
It was
the
nostalgic.
tagline.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And here's the other thing y'all need to remember about all that. All that would have musical guests on. Okay. So they would have like TLC on there, Aaliyah. Okay. Monica, I remember, was on there. So it's like, listen,
It was a real show.
It was. It was a real show. And they have brought it back. They had brought it back at some point. And they kept it going like in the late 2000s. But that original group was it's a lot of people you'd recognize now. And so it was a very cool show, and but you have to remember Nickelodeon at that point. Do y'all remember they had Double Dare?
Listen, Nickelodeon in the 90s was popping.
So many game shows.
What was that one game show where it was like they had to go through like the
I think it's Double Dare.
The village. Was it Double Dare where they had to go through like the village of like the scary things and like the tall
and you would get turned into a hamburger and like they would throw
all types of ridiculous.
That was Double Dare, and everybody wanted to go on Double Dare because you could go on with like a sibling. It would be like siblings paired up.
Yeah.
And they would go through an obstacle course.
I remember that.
Yes.
I remember
so that's the context, bro.
That.
The context is that all that was a popular show. It was on a popular channel, and we didn't have cable growing up, so we only got to watch Nickelodeon when we was over somebody's house.
Say when we were at our grandparents' house. So Nickelodeon,
it was special,
even for kids who didn't have cable like us, because our parents did not get cable until I graduated from high school. Even for kids like us who didn't have it, we still knew about that show.
Absolutely.
Like we didn't have to have cable to be aware of all that. We didn't have to have cable to be aware of the shows that were going on Nickelodeon. And that's another thing. Nickelodeon, it was literally saying, okay, when I think about it and I reflect, it was like, how can we take adult shows and make them for children? So they even had scary show. What was the show? It was called After Dark, I think it was called. Like you had these different shows that were just being scaled down. So which the word now, tweens, right? Tweens could have something to watch.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily Barney, but it wasn't necessarily like Days of Our Lives, right?
Exactly.
You still had some dramatic things going on, but you still had the comedy, you had the horror, you had the drama, you had all these different things.
You put it on and just let it play all day.
They were both front runners in this show. Like they were two of the bigger actors.
Yes.
And
Thompson and Kel Mitchell.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Which is why it's so interesting. And this is really about the way that the industry is really not fair. It's not fair because there's no reason why Kenan is now still famous and Kel where he at. There's no reason because
he's on the Disney Channel. Kel is on the show. He has a show, but see, I think that Kel stopped for a little bit.
He definitely disappeared, sis.
But he stopped for a bit just to do normal life, I believe. I don't think that it was like, oh my goodness, I can't find a job. Because he still did certain things. Like he was on the Parkers. So he had pieces of characters on different shows.
Okay.
And then for a minute, Kenan and Kel were doing different shows together. Like even they did a guest appearance for a little bit on the Steve Harvey show when he had a show in the 90s. So one of the main characters from all that was a main character on the Steve Harvey show. The white girl, I cannot remember her name, her real name. I do not know it. I'm gonna look it up right now because you're hilarious.
But the point I'm making, sis, like he went from being someone who was a household name, like we all knew Kenan and Kel when we were young. Yeah. He went from being a household name to, I mean, if he's still around, he's still around, but not in the way that Kenan is, and not in the way that Amanda Bynes is. you know, not in the, like, there were people, and not in the way that Nick Cannon is. You see what I'm saying? There's no reason why
Lori Beth Denberg.
Kel could have been at that level. He had as much talent as any of them, and in some cases more. And he did. I was recently binge watching Half and Half. Do y'all remember that show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that show was so good. It was so well done, from the 90s.
So well done.
So anyway, he was on an episode or two of that show, and I was like, this guy's a really good actor. You know, and not like a slapstick actor. And the character he actually played was kind of hokey, but he's a good actor is the point. And it's just, he just doesn't have the same level of fame as some of his contemporaries from all that. You know. But anyway, back to Good Burger.
Listen, I just do. Oh, that was the other part. I forgot. Kel Mitchell was Clifford the Big Red Dog. So I think that there were also, like, I think Kel Mitchell has been consistently doing things. We were out of the jurisdiction of it. Like, we were grown. He kept doing children's things. Like, you know, he was still in movies. He was still, you know,
around
doing different stuff. Yeah.
So you're saying like you're saying so he's financially successful as the other one.
I just did a quick Google. Kel Mitchell.
He's not as financially successful as Kenan. Yeah. No, I don't think.
But Brittany is just, I get your point, Britt, that it's not like he disappeared. He just doesn't have the same level of fame.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And also I will say for Kel Mitchell, like, he recently got ordained as a pastor. Like, so he's been doing other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, but he still never stayed out of fame. And, you know, and even for us to talk about him now, he's Kel Mitchell. Like, we know who he is, you know, so.
We definitely know who he is.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is don't do Kel Mitchell.
Well, one thing is for sure.
Nobody was trying
No one was
to
doing them. Nobody was doing them.
Nobody was
doing them.
I think
no one did them.
I think Genia was actually speaking on his behalf.
I don't think she was.
I think he's very good. You know, he's definitely a looker. Okay, I think he's handsome also.
It's interesting because I got to see a lot of sibling stuff happen in this conversation between you two. I got to see me ask Brittany a question and Genia answer it. And then I got
Thank you.
And
it happens often.
And I got to see Brittany get defensive for a point that Genia wasn't even making. And so I guess it was very interesting.
Because she was making it.
And now we all got to see Aubrey mansplain our personalities.
Yeah, it was a threefer. You got to see all the great.
I want you to know Kel Mitchell is 42 years old. Y'all are the same age.
See, that's the thing. That show was definitely for like middle school.
Man, you start getting 40, I'll be 43. You start forgetting. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's something men get to do. Men get to forget their age. That's a whole other podcast.
I blame myself. For getting us started. Let me bring it back.
As a woman,
my ovaries.
What I was saying is that my review manifested itself in a series of questions. And so these were the questions I was asking. And what I was asking Brittany was what part of this movie was funny? And
bro, what kind of question is that?
No, I'm very
disrespectful one.
No, I'm serious. Disrespectful one. I mean, because obviously
my goal, my goal for him was him to chuckle. He didn't even have to do a full-on laugh. I just wanted him to go at least once. Like, that's all I wanted for him. He said he didn't even do that.
Well, there were no jokes in the movie. Nobody wrote a joke.
What about Sinbad?
Well, listen.
Sinbad
this is what because what I'm asking. Let me clarify. I'm talking about the example I used was like if we were talking about Coming to America, we will all know the part. She's your queen too. You know, like we could talk about these Kunta Kinte. You know, like we could talk about these different parts that are the parts of the movie.
Yep.
So when I'm watching this, which is devoid of humor for me, I was curious as to what parts are the parts that, you know, people talk about.
So I will say, I believe that there is a
good
difference
question.
between Good Burger and Come America. The reason I say that there's a difference between them is because Eddie Murphy had situations where he's a true comedian, right? He's stand-up comedian. You know that this is where this movie is going. I look at
But look, let's
like,
that is a beautiful example you just brought up. Let's use that because it's more apples to apples. Because in the
Sis, can
SNL
you make
world,
that
which
point?
is
Make that point again, real quick, sis. I feel like my internet did a little blip and it might not be clear. So
okay.
pick up where Aubrey was like, "What's funny about this?"
Okay. Was it?
This is gonna be some editing, y'all.
Listen, it's gonna be 17 videos stitched together.
It is.
So
Okay.
I would never have put it.
I don't even know what I'm laughing about. Okay.
I would not have placed this movie up against something like A Coming to America, right?
Sure.
Because Coming to America, you know, Eddie Murphy's a comedian. You had Arsenio Hall, he's a host. Like, these are different things, right? But I would have likened this to something like a Will Ferrell movie, where it is just, you know, that this is going to be some ignorant shenanigans that will take you. You're just disbelieving anything that's happening right now.
Yeah.
You're just here
Absolutely.
to solely
So
just
look,
have a little piece of enjoyment.
Look. Here's the thing. That is a great example because the SNL movies that was more
There you go. I was just gonna say.
in my age bracket, and what I'm saying is like, for example, Ladies Man. Okay, Ladies Man
Right,
was a movie, but I'm gonna tell you, on Ladies Man,
I didn't.
There are moments like when they have the food eat off, when it was where they were trying to see who was more down with the soul food, and so the Ladies Man, and they were eating the bar food. So that is a moment. I have
not watched that movie.
Okay, well, so
no, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here.
Yeah.
I think what. So, and I'm now thinking about SNL movies. I'm thinking about Coneheads. Okay,
right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like Night at the Roxbury. You know, some of these movies. So bro, I think what it is that some of the jokes, some of the jokes are just not things you would find funny. So
that's why I'm asking.
Well, okay, so but I a couple do come to mind for me.
Yeah.
So one was like when
she's
Ed,
doing it again. She's not gonna let me answer my own question.
You did, Brittany. You already did an answer. She
didn't tell her parts.
Okay.
She didn't tell her parts. She doesn't even realize when she's doing it. Wow, that is amazing.
Brittany just did that whole thing about Coming to America. That was her response.
No. But then when we clarified, she was about to tell her part, right? Were you about? Yeah, she was about to tell her parts, and then you just like steamrolled it. But you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it in the replay.
Organic conversation.
You gotta watch it in the replay. You gotta watch it in the replay.
I didn't realize I was doing it. I did it.
You gotta watch it in the replay.
I did it
because Brittany, I really want to hear it.
I thought I was tacking on.
So for me, there are silly parts like when Ed and Dexter they meet Shaq, and just how they're ridiculous. It's just they're ridiculous. Like it's just
I'm talking about.
It's so true.
I'm talking about a part like you sort of said.
That's a joke.
The meat shack.
When they meet Shaq and they run to him in the locker room.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was a funny moment.
No.
Or like,
he was like,
that was an Aubrey brain.
Aubrey was like,
malfunction. I'm over here like a meat shack. Now I did watch the movie, and I ain't seen nothing about a meat shack in this movie. Now, what type of games are you trying to play?
or even the parts where
Okay,
it's
no,
like,
that okay. So when they met Shaq, okay,
yes, or the part where even Sinbad, where any part that Sinbad came up, because I know I have friends who are teachers. And so I think about watching this as an adult and knowing teachers and seeing this teacher interact, trying to get away from students for the summer. And this student has wrecked your car. This student has destroyed your mailbox.
Yeah.
Like, I just watching Sinbad's character in this movie, I was cracking up. I was like, he is so, because I just think Sinbad is funny anyway.
But what are the quotables? What are the quotables?
Bro, there's several.
That's what I'm asking. I just want a couple. Like I was wanting to know what the parts were. Like if I could tell you the part, you know what I'm saying? Like because when I'm watching this, like when you talk about that Shaq thing, that makes sense to me because not only was it interesting, but also Shaq was the man at that time. I mean, still, very forefront. But I mean, at that time, he was like Shaq. So I'm sure that was a big deal.
Nickelodeon, Nickelodeon shows always had celebrities, big adult name celebrities and stuff in them. All that had musical guests, and
I wouldn't say, and you know what, because I know like all the lines in the movie, and there are probably things to me that are not going to be hilarious to other people. I don't even know how to answer that question, honestly, because I'm like, I know the tagline is going to be, "Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?" Or just even Ed's character just being so far removed from life. Like, Ed, Dexter doesn't like you, but you came and sat down with him for lunch. Like, and he's just still getting his food out. He's just dispensing him so far from reality. So I just don't think about any lines like that because there are things that were coming up in my mind. I was like, no one's going to remember Sinbad walking out of Good Burger saying, "I want the big booty burger. I want the big booty burger." I was like, no one's going to remember him saying that. But I remember
that process. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I allowed to tack on? Is it a good time? Or should I wait?
It's a good time.
Okay.
It's a good time.
Because I can think of a couple.
One more thing.
We are just the worst.
Because I don't have the movie memorized the way Brittany does. So I have a fresher view of it. And so here's the ones I would say.
Unhealthy sibling relationship.
I would say
it's healthy.
Definitely the Big Booty Burger is one that is like a memorable quote moment. There's absolutely every time Kel says, "Welcome to the Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?" Everybody
so that would be
there's another one. There's that song, and it's so funny because I think this song nowadays would not be appropriate. But he says, "I'm a dude, you're a dude, he's a dude, we're all dudes, she's a dude. He's a dude." It's like that stupid dude song.
When did he sing that?
He sang it all throughout because it's one of those things that was a part of the.
Okay.
He's a dude.
Right.
She's a dude.
Or
I'm a dude. Right. Okay. We're all dudes. And then there's another. And then there's another one that comes to mind for me.
So that's a part. So when we if you were with some friends and you were like, "I'm a dude, she's a dude," like they would know.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody would say, "We're all dudes." Yes.
Yes.
And then another one that, just like the Big Booty Burger, is one that was an aside, but it was funny. There was this line where Ed, Carmen Electra's character, I can't remember what her name was Roxanne.
Roxanne. Yeah, because they were playing the
music.
So she was like trying to seduce him so she could get the Ed sauce recipe. And she was like, "Would you like to have dinner tomorrow night?" And Ed goes, "I like to have dinner every night."
It's like, what?
Ed. Anyway, so there were lines like that. And the other thing I was thinking of, bro, if we're not talking about iconic lines, but we're talking about attempts at a funny moment in the movie, there were many, but they were very slapstickish. So there was one where it was like Ed was in the milkshake machine. He was literally in the milkshake machine. And they were like, Ed, what are you doing? I'm cleaning the machine.
He's trying to fix it. He's
trying to fix the machine,
which clearly he just hadn't turned it on.
And then there's another one where Kenan and Kel, or Dexter and Ed, they collide in the kitchen, and one Dexter ends up laying on top of Ed, and Dexter says something like, "I need to talk to you," and
Dexter
Ed is like,
tackles Ed. Dexter tackles Ed because Ed is about to start talking about what's in the sauce.
In the sauce, right?
And
right,
Dexter is like,
and then Ed goes, "I don't really like you like that."
Is it?
No, bro, it's like there were moments.
No, that you have both answered what I was asking.
And
because I was curious, because these are things I would have been able to see if I was watching it with you. Like I would have been able to see.
And I just thought of another one. What
Me
about
too.
Shaq was not the only cameo on there. Parliament Funkadelic was on there.
Yes,
And
they played a big part on there.
They played a big part on there, and that
that scene for me was probably the most painful. Now,
yeah.
Now
for those who haven't seen the movie, there are a couple of the characters are tricked into being put in an insane asylum by Mondo Burger. They trick a couple of the Good Burger people into being in an insane asylum. And when they're in the insane asylum, all of the people just happen to know a choreographed dance. They break into a choreographed dance together. And through the choreography, they escape from the insane asylum.
But see, you guys, you can't do that because we've talked about so many times. We literally have talked about Star Wars, an entire galaxy that no one is on, right? Like that's far, far away from here. Like
I'm rolling my eyes only in the slapstickishness of it. No, listen. I'm into whimsy, but I don't. It's more like the slapstickish, like
yeah.
It wasn't a funny moment, like a moment of funny writing. It was more like a forced moment of here's a joke.
Oh, well, I took it as just like a funny little musical interlude where people were crazy.
How did it land? Because it's not the fact that I agree with Janai. Like it's not that you feel that, oh, well, this is unbelievable that he was able to, dance, beat these people up. Like that's not how you feel. You're just like for example, there's the movie, what was that movie with Dave Chappelle about the smoking weed and all that?
Yeah.
Oh, How High?
Was it How High?
I haven't seen it, but I think it is How High.
No, that's not it. That's not it. We gotta look it up because now I feel like
it's How High.
How High is the one with Method Man. How High is the one with
Half Baked.
Half Baked. How High was the one with Method Man. But yeah, so like there was a scene at the end where they were all fighting with like ninjas and stuff. And it was ridiculous, but it was funny. But I'm just saying.
But that was also for an adult audience, and Good Burger was not.
Yeah, so I'm asking, did that land? Like so in the movie, like if you saw it in the movie theater,
yes,
did that part land?
Yes, it landed. And even there's even the silly part, like because Kel was like that one part where they're in the diner and he's trying to convince Dexter to ask, I think her name was Monique, played by Shar Jackson, ask her character out. And he's like, Kel, what Ed's character is like, you're a chicken, moo. It's like, these are things.
He didn't know a chicken sound.
He didn't know a chicken. He didn't know a chicken. He was doing a cow. And it's like, these things are hilarious. It's like that's
so like that's another one that would have.
That one is that one is not nostalgic. Like I'm a dude, she's a dude,
right?
But it would have hit based on his personality.
His personality, and also honoring the sketch show nature of the origins. You know, when you think about a sketch show, the joke is forced because you have 3 minutes to tell the whole joke. And it's like, and the other thing about a sketch show is you will randomly start singing and dancing.
Listen, and the pieces of it you get. like you can get a word, but you're building off of something.
That's right.
So who knows how much of Good Burger was just them allowing them to go, you know, to have that type of humor.
I thought it was a whole lot, actually. I thought
well, so
that
but some of them
thought that the script for this movie was probably 3 pages long.
But some of them, I hate you. Some of them were, but some of them were trained actors that were in this movie. Like these are,
I thought they were all,
you know, they came in maybe not in a way of doing sketch comedy. They came in a different way.
Yeah,
you know, which would be interesting to see, like an interview of how that was. And I'm pretty sure they may have some out there when they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I think that would be interesting. So I would just say that when I look at movies like this, because I can find something great almost. Very rarely is there a movie where I go, I can't believe I'm watching this right now. Very rarely. And that is because somewhere in my mind, I go, there's a reason.
Well, Brittany, if you ever come across that movie, I want to know what it is.
Listen, it's out there.
If it makes you go.
I just missed it.
What did you say?
I just missed it.
For those that are listening, for those that are listening in and can't see what just happened, Brittany placed her hands on her temple and looked perplexed. Okay, and Aubrey was quite delighted by it. That's what's just happened.
Oh, I love my family
understand.
so much.
I don't understand what's happening.
Okay, you know what? I just scrolled through my notes here, and you know what? There was another kind of
show
humor.
is making me realize how dysfunctional we are.
Well, this is not dysfunction. This is a family rhythm. Okay,
this is a rhythm. It's a rhythm.
It's a rhythm. There's another kind
nation.
There's another kind of joke that was in there, which was references to that time.
To that era. Okay.
They made a reference to American Gladiators. Do you remember that?
I do remember. That was actually a show I really enjoyed.
We used to love us some American Gladiators.
Yeah,
y'all need to know. We was watching American Gladiators. And then they also made a reference to, do you remember the show with Bob Vila, This Old House? And he called it This Old Homie. Somebody in the movie said This Old Homie. Do y'all remember that? I think it might have been Sinbad.
I don't remember.
Somebody was doing something and they were like, This Old Homie. But it was a reference to This Old House.
Did y'all see the meme with somebody painting? They had Bob Ross painting Bernie Sanders.
Listen. When he was sitting in the corner of that Bob Ross, when he was sitting in the corner, I said, I
probably know. Listen, we are on track. Good Burger, we're good.
Listen, but here's the thing, though. I think what you just did, bro, was really likening to what was happening in my mind.
Right.
That this was something that was coming out around that time frame.
That's right.
That was key for that time frame. And so while, you know, I think even like you talking about a ladies' man, like would everybody understand who didn't watch SNL in the 80s or was it the early 90s whenever Ladies' Man was a skit? Like, would people have understood?
Would people get it?
Exactly.
Right.
And so I think that they were able to capitalize off of what I don't know if they can do that now with movies, but they were able to in the 90s, it was different where you were able to capitalize off of a moment. And that moment was like spectacular. But I think you bringing up Bernie Sanders, this is a moment, right? He was at that inauguration with his mitts on, his jacket, minding his little business. And now Bernie Sanders is everywhere. And anything you can think of, they have a picture of Bernie Sanders. They even have drawn a cartoon of him. So it's like, it's the time frame.
You're making such a good point about like a comparison about like the way moments are captured now versus then. I mean, now we do it instantly. When something is funny, it is parodied and mocked and memed and gifted immediately. And so things don't get a chance to become a classic thing and then get honored. It becomes like instantly we're digging in on it because something funny happened. And then there are things that aren't actually funny, but because people choose to mock it, it then becomes
It makes it
a
funny.
focus of the moment. So it's
so
very
true,
different.
because there was
It's
a
very
meme
different.
about a man that was going around, and he was like a big guy, a black man, and he was, being like sexy. He had like a shirt off, and he's sitting on the corner of her bed, and everyone was like, memeing that. But in actuality, that meme, that picture came out after this man has passed away. So it's like people don't even know what they're doing sometimes when they do certain things. They don't even know. But it's just such a, it's just such a thing. Like it's microwave. So I think that's a great point, sis. You don't get a chance to make things a classic. And when something becomes a classic now, it has to be huge. Like it has to be. It can't be something
break
like
through.
Yes, it can't be something like an all that skit and then it becomes iconic. No, it has to be just, oh my gosh. Like, so yeah, I agree with that completely.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm scrolling through my notes here, and I feel like the only note that I think is worth making, because I feel like we've covered everything, except to mention that Marcus Houston was also in the movie. I just wanted to mention that he was.
Listen, you can mention that all day.
And here's what
Aubrey and Genia.
I've been hearing about this for decades.
Brittany loved her some Immature. That's what y'all need to know. When that singing group came out, and that was probably one of the first times when they came to town to Pittsburgh and they were doing a concert. That was one of the first moments where I really felt my age difference from Brittany. Because I don't know how old she was. Maybe she was 10 and I was 14. I don't know. But
I was about to say I was in middle school. I was in middle school when
we went to an Immature concert, and Brittany was up at the stage with all of the kids watch it, so overjoyed that Immature was there. They're like, ah! And I was in the back of the theater with all the moms, like, what are we doing here? And we're looking at each other like, these kids, what are we doing here? And Brittany loves some Immature. Posters in the bedroom
all over my wall.
But how were they at the front of the stage?
Listen, we were in love.
Do you think that's an accurate? Do you think that's an accurate depiction?
That's basically what they were doing.
Of what you were doing. Do you think that was accurate?
I think I was more so going like this. Okay, my hands weren't open; they were closed. Okay,
and all I know is those little boys would take off their shirts and their little chicken chests would be out, and those little girls
chicken chests with their little mushroom haircuts, looking like total.
Think about the 90s. Like if some little kids try to take their shirt off right now, they get shut down and canceled. Back then it was all good, baby.
Oh gosh,
it was just because it was a chest. Oh.
Oh my gosh, there were so many children doing inappropriate things when we were growing up.
It wasn't inappropriate. It
wasn't inappropriate.
It was fun. That is fun.
Was fun.
A little 10-year-old dude taking his shirt off in front of a 10-year-old chick is funny. That's
Listen, but here's the thing about that. Some of the stories, that's why I don't even like going on YouTube anymore.
All right, well now
the stories about that stuff, you be like,
I don't want to go into the weeds.
But that's it.
Because
I got destroyed.
Don't hold this curtain back.
It's destroyed. Like nowadays, everything that would be fun is like starting to be destroyed. So but it brings me to a point about all that. Could all that actually function right now? Like, could you, the things that come out, like people are so, ooh, don't be offensive. And it's like, could you have an insane asylum scene?
Yeah, and even with
around like this, like you can't have that.
They called the name of this insane asylum was Demented Hills. And it was like the little motto, it was like Demented Hills, restricting the disturbed. I actually did have to pause it and write that down because I was like, that's so inappropriate. But it would have been funny at the time.
Inappropriate now. But
it would have been funny at the time.
It's hilarious. And I think
man, like it was, to me, seeing comedy take risks. That's because, like, to me, Mad TV was way funnier than Saturday Night Live.
Oh, absolutely. Hands down.
And if you go back and watch, some Mad TV, they would do some things that it was like, did they really just do that?
Yes, they did.
Nobody was safe on Mad TV, just like nobody's safe on SNL, but more so on Mad TV.
But see, SNL wouldn't win as far as like the Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown imitation. Do y'all remember on Mad TV?
Oh yes, that actress who used to do that. What is her name? We gotta look up her name because
Deborah, she did a lot.
Deborah something.
Remember when she was on the Love
Deborah
Connection,
Wilson?
Remember when she did
that Whitney Houston. She would be all sweaty. Oh, she was so funny.
Remember when she did the video when she was making a video of the love person that was trying to like get a husband, and she was like, I know I'm gonna get one. And she was like this really religious nutcase. She was like a God. She started
they had an ongoing bit called Lowered Expectations. And it would be people doing a video. Oh,
that is so funny.
Good. But we can't stop this podcast without talking about the music. And I think that Good Burger did something that was important in the 90s. Your movie had to have a corresponding soundtrack that would have good music on it. That's right.
So like the song All I Want was by 702. They sang it, but that was one of the main things in the movie. That was like a theme song for the movie. And of course you had I'm a Dude, She's a Dude, like Janiyah was talking about.
I'm a dude, she's a dude, you're a dude, we're all dudes. Hey.
And then reaching back with the Parliament Funk. Hey, okay. Reaching back with the Parliament Funk. This is something else that would happen, and I'm sure it happens now still, but trying to make sure parents still has something to see in a children's programming. Like it wasn't necessarily that we're just all dealing with children. We know that the parents are in here. So let's make sure that we have Parliament, Roxanne by Sting. Like you're having I think they did a great job at having a great soundtrack as well. So I definitely don't want to move from that part.
Yeah, so I just pulled up the soundtrack real quick. They had All I Want, 702, I'll Be There For You, Tracy Spencer, Friends by Warren G.
Tracy.
Okay, so the We're All Dude song is by a group called Less Than Jake. They had a Mint Condition song, That's the Way.
I used to own that soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, they had some good ones. The Roxanne, it says it's by Michael Franti, sis. Okay. I don't know, maybe that was so anyway, yeah, they had, you're right, sis. They didn't play with this with this soundtrack.
You couldn't because it was a thing, like we've already said before. It was a thing to own the movie and to also own the soundtrack.
It's true.
It was part of the experience.
Yep. Do Fries Go With That Shake, performed by Trulio, Desgracias, and De La Soul. So these are,
that's some big name people. Like
That's the Way by Mint Condition.
Yeah, especially back then.
These some big name people back in the 90s to have them on your soundtrack.
Definitely.
So it makes me wonder even how much that soundtrack made. Like, if that's a figure that's out there. So,
well, I'm seeing what the soundtrack on the Billboard 200, it peaked at 101, and on the R&B and hip hop Billboard, it peaked at 65. So that ain't bad. Not bad at all. So, yeah, I think we pretty much covered the movie. It might be time.
I guess it was a black movie.
Do it.
But bro, you asked a lot of questions. You didn't really give. I think you have to give a reaction, bro, before we get to voting.
Well, I could give my reaction in
your vote. Voting. Okay.
In my vote, because obviously, I mean, we know that this movie is not going to get my vote. But let me give a more thought, because I want everybody to know, whenever I watch a movie, I'm going in with open. I'm not forcing myself either way. But the reason why I say, and when I Googled it to pull it up, I noticed that it had a 66 on Rotten Tomatoes with audience, and I was surprised.
Rotten Tomatoes came out after this movie.
I'm saying, no, 66 is not a bad rating. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not a super high rating. Yeah, it's not super high rating, but 66 is a respectable, like if I see a movie that has 66, I like the audience side. I don't like the critic side, because the critic side, obviously they had it at 14% or whatever it was. But with the audience, to me, usually gives me a better barometer for how I will enjoy a movie. And I'm just saying, when I see 60, 66, 70, that's like, oh, well, I could go either way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like the audience. So I was expecting to see a much lower Rotten Tomatoes score. So when I started the movie, it gave me even a little more boost in the direction of, well, maybe there's something about this movie that I'll see, that other people will see. But I think what it is it's a very time-specific movie. And for me, a classic means that you could show this movie to anybody at any time, and they're going to be able to appreciate it. Even if they can't appreciate it in the way you did, they can still appreciate. Because if somebody's watching Coming to America right now, they're going to laugh. But they're not going to laugh the way we laughed when we saw. So they'll still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But imagine when we saw that fat dude singing for the first time. She's young. Quit.
It was so unexpected.
But it was right after that huge, amazing dance number that it looked like they took months to, get it right. And then right after that, she's your queen. And so being you're going to see humor in that.
Yeah.
Whenever, but even more so in the time frame. So I'm just saying, even though movies aren't ever going to be the same as for people who see it when it's actually out, I'm just saying, like, a classic to me means that I could have watched that and not being anywhere in the time frame or context, I could still get enjoyment out of it. But let me say this though, it wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. So even though
I like that comment.
Yeah, because even though I didn't come close to laughing once, it wasn't like Peter. How when you're watching something you really hate, like you physically get hot, like you're like, ugh, you just get uncomfortable. Like,
yes,
it wasn't that like that. Like, it was an easy watch. It was cool to see Sinbad and the old dude who was in the he played the old guy. What's his name?
Yeah. He was like, I think I broke my ass.
Yeah, I can't think
and that was a children's movie with a curse word in it. He was like,
well, like you said,
to the hospital. I think I broke my ass.
I think y'all Abe Vigoda. That's his name. Abe Vigoda.
Thank you. Yeah, they were on cable though.
But I think the way that you all described it really made it make sense for me, because like you said, it's not Care Bears, but it's not Days of Our Lives. It's this interesting dynamic.
That awkward space you're in when you're in middle school going into high school. Like I know things are like this, but am I allowed to say this?
Right. Right. So yeah, I can't call it a classic, but that's my reasons why.
Yeah. Well, bro, it's so interesting because I can't help but reflect on our last podcast where we were looking at the never ending story. And it's so interesting because I felt like the reasons why you're saying Good Burger is not a classic are the reasons you were saying Never Ending Story was a classic, in that when you put it in the moment, you made it a classic because of the moment that it lived in. And I have to tell you,
but we voted that movie not a classic.
We did vote it not a classic
because of the reasons that I'm talking about.
You're right.
So
but I'm just talking about your individual vote. Well, is what I'm talking about.
Well, yes, that's the point I'm making. Like that movie is connecting to me in a way that, so I understood what you were saying, but it doesn't to me. You know what I'm saying? And so
the way that Never Ending Story was for you, that's why I am going to give Good Burger my yo-yo. Now, here's the thing. I have to say, I do not think it is a classic on the spectrum of like comedy movies. It's not, and I wouldn't even necessarily say, 90s movies, but it is in the sketch converted to movie category. If you're going to allow it to exist against Coneheads and Ladies Man and what was it? Is it Blues Brothers? What was the other Saturday Night Live one?
Oh, Roxbury.
There's a whole Saturday Night Live was like,
but that's what I'm saying. If we're gonna, if we look at it in that grouping of movies, I think it holds its own. And so for that reason, I'm gonna give it a yo-yo. But I because I do think it is as good as any other sketch turned movie. I do think so.
But and I accept and respect your vote.
And,
but I'm saying
and it's unique because it is as good as any of those, and it was all kids. That's what makes it special. That's what makes it a classic, because these aren't adult actors. They were kids. And they managed to put together a sketch turned movie that was as good as any of the other sketch turned movies that were coming out in the 90s.
But can that's two different conversations though. Because
I'm telling you what factors into my vote. I'm telling you what factors into my vote.
I feel you, but I'm saying normally we don't talk about genre specific. We talk about if this is.
But that's why. But this movie, you have to do that. You have to do it because it's such a special part of comedy. These sketch turned movie comedies.
But what I'm saying is then we could, because we could watch all of those movies and say none of them are classics then. If none of them break out of that niche, how can we call it overall?
Well, I hear what you're saying. And I think that is an interesting discussion to have. Can something be a classic in its category as opposed to a classic generally? And I guess part of it for me right now is that
because with that framing, I would agree with you.
Right,
is what I'm saying.
Right,
because but like that's just never how we've discussed it before. But like if you're saying that no, this movie holds its own really within this.
And I should share something else with the viewers and listeners that is an important piece of the context for how I'm reviewing all of this. I am actually a student of comedy right now. I am actively studying comedy. I mean, I'm in a sketch class right now, and I've taken multiple classes on sketch and improv, and I performed. And so I literally, I have homework this weekend. I have a sketch I need to finish for a sketch class on Monday. And so I think about the recipe for building a sketch. And I think about taking that and turning it into a movie. It is just in my mind, it becomes a very little special piece of the comedy movie genre.
I get it.
So it is definitely kind of where I am
Gotcha.
with comedy right now.
I get it.
But yeah, I'm going to give it my yo-yo. And I will tell you, that's a change because when I logged on today, I was not planning to give it the yo-yo. It was really some of Brittany's comments that helped me to kind of clarify my thinking and opinion on this movie. And I got to tell you, I didn't watch it straight through. I did have to take a break.
I watched it straight through.
You know, I did have to take a break. So it wasn't like, I don't want to give the impression that I just personally loved it.
Oh no,
I don't think I didn't.
I feel like you communicated yourself very.
But it has a place. I would, yeah. Sis, final yo-yo.
Bring us on.
I still love it. It gets a yo-yo.
Well, so we were so surprised.
It does. Wow.
I was on the edge of my seat.
Listen, but I will be honest and say, I think part of me is being a bit facetious giving it a yo-yo, right? Because I think about the children of today. I do not know if they would like Good Burger. They would probably sit there like, so what is the point? He has a burger. Why is he so dumb? Like I could feel like that's how they would look at this movie. And I'd be like, this is hilarious. It's a burger. Like he's a burger and it's supposed to be a chicken.
It's an exploding burger.
But sis, at the same time, again,
plan to raise
as a person that currently, meaning in 2021, watches Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, these kinds of jokes like, oh, this burger is so gigantic, how can you possibly eat it? They still do stuff like that.
That's true. Because I'm thinking, as you say that, I'm thinking about like That's So Raven. Exactly. I'm thinking about these movies or Raven's Home, and I'm thinking about these different shows that I do kind of watch.
They still do that same kind of comedy.
You know what? Let me take that back. Good Burger may still do.
I think it would.
That type of but at any rate, I definitely give it my my yo-yo. I did enjoy it, and I just appreciate children having that platform to be creative like that. Mm-hmm. And it seemed as though it was like just a good, fun, safe space for them to have a good time. And I also appreciated the Carmen Electra character in that movie. It made me that was nostalgic. Yes, that was nostalgic of the 90s, of this type of woman, huge boob, no waist, like no hips, no nothing. Like it was just this. I was kind of chuckling at that. Like Carmen Electra. What was the other one that was on Baywatch? Pamela Anderson. I was just thinking about how in the 90s, they were it. They were the hot ladies. Like, you know what I mean? So I just loved watching it again and enjoying the music and all those different things. So yeah, definitely gets my yo-yo.
Well, one thing is for sure, 2 out of 3 ain't gonna be enough. Good Burger is not a classic from the Wright Perspective. There you have it, folks. That's it. And bro and sis, I have a recommendation for our next podcast. I want to propose that we watch 2 movies. One will be a refresher for us. The other one
is trying to do too much.
Well, let me put my proposal out there. So it is time for us to circle back to another musical. And of course, My Fair Lady is something that is important from our childhood. We got to watch that and recap it and discuss it. And it just so happens that me and Brittany are going to go watch horse races next week. And so I'm like, we got to watch My Fair Lady. But then y'all know, so My Fair Lady is based on a book called Pygmalion. And Pygmalion was a movie. Mm-hmm. And then My Fair Lady was a stage musical made based on the book that then became a movie. Mm-hmm. And so I want to propose that we watch both Pygmalion and the movie Pygmalion and the movie My Fair Lady and talk about them both.
I like
both
that.
Are considered classics in their own right.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen both of them. I would look forward to seeing Pygmalion again.
I've seen both of them. it's one of those things that it's hard to put yourself in the place of Pygmalion coming first.
That's the thing.
Because My Fair Lady was such a big part of our lives.
Iconic.
It was.
So,
Our
so,
mom
so
loved
it's just hard to see this without putting in the context of My Fair Lady, where it really should be us watching My Fair Lady in the context of Pygmalion.
Right.
But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting
So
to
then we
discuss.
probably need to really make sure when we watch it in order.
Obviously, yeah.
You know what? Yeah, but it's just like so our minds could kind of like be
As best we
Even
can.
though we have My Fair Lady memorized.
Well, I mean,
do
my
have it memorized.
Fair
Top
Lady,
pens,
My Fair Lady.
top
is-
the bag,
pens for
the only thing that's going to make this conversation.
Brittany, that's from Mary Poppins.
I mean,
She
clearly.
ruined the whole thing. All right. Anyway, go ahead, bro. That's the bird lady in Mary Poppins.
Let me tell
Feed the
you.
birds, top in
I
the
just,
bag.
but it's
Oh my God.
I was so
anyway.
strong
That's
and wrong. Isn't
you're
that
really going to
wrong?
understand the integrity of this show if we can include this in a clip, because her getting that mixed up is really a strike on our record.
It is. I'm really
our mom
disappointed.
would be really disappointed. But what I wanted to say was that, listen, you can watch some old school blaxploitation movies, you know, the Mac, all these, and hear some stuff talking on women. But I'm gonna let you know, the king of
Of woman bashing.
the king is Henry
Higgins.
Okay, it's Henry Higgins. He is
We're
the
talking about
proud.
misogyny.
He
I'm
just
saying-
he was
I'm
calling
just
her
saying
all
that-
manner of. Let's
I'm
save
just
it. Let's
saying-
save it. Let's save it. But he
Let's save
really
it.
Oh,
had some.
Aubrey
choice
is
words.
going to hate us during that review.
You know what though? I don't think you're going to be able to get.
Wait,
I think
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plane.
Finally.
There we go. That's a reference.
Finally, she's caught up.
Good job, Britt.
Oh my gosh, I'm very
You know,
disappointed.
but look, I'm just
I
saying.
see
I'm
that
just
from the
saying.
baby in my head.
Even though,
I swear.
but the way he.
Save
the
it,
way-
bro. Save it, bro.
Okay.
Save it. Save it. Because there's so much to be said on this.
Yeah. So.
No.
So y'all tune in next
Yeah,
time.
that's
and
a good long movie. That was the one that used to. That was one of the movies that used to come in 2 tapes.
Yeah, and let me tell y'all, don't wait till the last minute, because I don't even know how long Pygmalion is. Y'all, this is a lot of content to cover. Listen,
What I can tell you is that My Fair Lady is not available anywhere online.
wow.
So I have a copy. So this is everybody, because if not, then
Ooh.
also calculate that in. You got to get a copy.
Okay.
You're not going to find it online.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Challenge accepted.
All right.
Mm.
Let me know.
Okay.
I found it online once, but they took it down.
Oh, well, Pygmalion is only an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's only an hour and a half.
All right. Well, let's do
You
it.
know.
All right, let's do it.
All right. We got it.
Good.
All right. Thank you all for
Listen, sis.
tuning in to the Wright Perspective. We'll see you next